Hello, this is Alex and I want to give you a warm welcome to this guided presentation titled The 7 Self-Saboteurs and How Best to Avoid Them After Quitting Smoking. By now, you would have successfully completed your quit smoking tele-session with Marco, so congratulations and thank you for taking this journey with him. The most difficult phase of this transition is now over, and the road ahead looks very promising indeed. As bright as the world looks to your eyes right now, your future will be brighter than this. That being said, like any road we travel on, sometimes there are obstacles that may get in the way of our journey and destination. Therefore, I just want to make sure you understand what self-saboteurs are and how to best avoid these potential pitfalls. Like any important life decision, one simple act or behavior may help or hinder one's progress. The following self-saboteurs could possibly break your smoke-free commitment in being successful long-term. We can slot these saboteurs into 3 distinctive categories: deliberate, environmental, and accidental. We just don't want to leave any stone left unturned and take any chances with this. Okay, without further ado, let's maximize your potential in remaining smoke-free by developing strategic coping skills on how to deal with the 7 self-saboteurs after quitting smoking. Saboteur number 1. Dealing with other smokers. Now, most smokers will feel happy for you, but 1 or 2 may envy you to some degree. They may even try to influence and tempt you in breaking your own commitment in remaining strong. I want you to think carefully about this. Do you know of anyone who may try to tempt you back to smoking? Because some will feel threatened on some level, and they'll be trying to make themselves feel better about their own inability to quit smoking because they don't realize how natural and easy it is to stop when you know how. So every time you're offered a cigarette, you'll just smile and say, "No thanks," with a sense of pride and conviction. Every time you do, you'll attach a tremendous sense of pride and conviction, which becomes stronger every time you now refuse. The moment you do refuse a cigarette, you will feel strong and deep down you know you've done the right thing. So just take a moment and see that smoker, whether they're your friend, your colleague, or family member, trying to tempt you, and you say, "No, I don't want it." And notice how great you feel. Notice how much pride you feel inside and how your conviction becomes stronger with each cigarette you now refuse. Again, if any smokers try to tempt you back to that smoking path, they're doing this out of fear, envy, and just not wanting to be the last ones smoking. This is known as the crab mentality effect. The crab mentality, also known as crabs in a bucket, is a way of thinking best described in the following phrase: "If I can't have it, then neither can you." It's a metaphor derived from a pattern of behavior that's noted with crabs when they are trapped in a bucket. Look at your screen right now and see this for yourself. But you can easily refuse them and feel a great sense of pride in doing so. Their fear, by the way, is that you've changed as a person, meaning they have associated your identity with the smoking habit. Now that the habit has gone, they feel a part of you has gone along with it. At this point, all you have to do is calmly explain that you are still the same person, you just happen to be someone who no longer feels the need nor the desire to smoke anymore. And because you've realized how simple and easy it's been, that it's become second nature to you by harnessing the power of your mind. They can quit just as easily as you have. So, if they are at the mercy of a bad habit, you can simply advise them to get in contact with Marco. It's a gift that just keeps on giving. Okay, so you might be thinking, "I don't want other smokers to feel left out." Well, your friends do not enjoy your company because you've smoked. They invite you out because they like spending time with you. You provide value just like you enjoy the company of other non-smokers because they also provide value to you. There's no reason why you can't spend time with people that are important and still smoke. Chances are they're going to be happy for you because you've made a positive change. Moving on. Saboteur number 2. Stress. The next saboteur is stress. Surprise, surprise. Now, like any other non-smoker, you're going to have some stressful moments. At given times and stages in our lives, this happens to all of us. However, you'll find satisfaction in knowing that cigarettes are the very last thing you need. Stress can come in many forms and at different levels of intensity. Low levels of stress can actually be beneficial because it can move and motivate you. You just learn how to adopt the mental attitude to convert a negative stress into a positive one. The best way to manage stress, releasing physical tension whilst keeping a clear, calm and focused mind, is just listen to my stress relief MP3 on a regular basis. You would have received this in the post-session email along with some breathing exercises. Just remember this: smoking is no stress reliever. It only adds to the stress. There's no relief when you're putting the body and the mind under extra stress. Just take a comfortable, deep breath in those times, because a mind at rest cannot be stressed. When you arrive at rest, you strive for your best. Saboteur number 3, curiosity. Okay, so this saboteur is all about curiosity. This happens when you might travel to other countries with different variations of cigarettes, or you see different styles of packaging. But allow me to say this: new packaged cigarettes, same old cancer. A person might wonder what a cigarette may taste like, but it's disguised as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Curiosity about cigarette taste just isn't important. What is important is you being curious on how much your life will improve from being a non-smoker. Because once that nicotine and its poisonous chemicals get into your system again, well, you risk awakening the habit. Even if you are just curious about the smell. Well, I don't mind the aromas of perfume, shampoo or even fuel, but it doesn't mean I'm going to drink it. So curiosity is only important in the context of how your life is going to improve in being a non-smoker. Now you might be thinking to yourself, I'll be alright, it won't happen to me. Well, like driving a vehicle and ignoring the lights and flashes on the dashboard, it's only a matter of time. Also, it's a question of perception and opinions, but facts are facts. Statistics show that up to 2 in 3 people will die from a horrific disease due to their smoking habit. And yet, the smoker has once said, "It won't be me." With millions of people buying the lottery ticket, only 1 in 14 million have the chance of ever winning the lottery. And yet, the person buying the ticket would say, "It could be me." We all have these types of perceptions, but the numbers don't lie. By risking this, you're playing a smoker's game of Russian roulette with your life. Because those who say, "It won't happen to me," are the ones where life happens to them. Okay, moving on. Saboteur number 4, arrogance. The next saboteur is arrogance. Some people feel a great sense of confidence after quitting smoking this easily, believing they can start and re-quit whenever they want. Now that's like saying, I can stop myself hurting when I want to. Why would you do it in the first place? Why would you engage in bodily self-harm and then reply with, all I have to do is stop harming myself, then stopping the self-harm and doing it all over again? The pain will disappear as soon as you stop harming yourself. Plus, you'll be feeding energy back into the old habit again, rewiring those neural pathways. You're just awakening the sleeping giant. As Marco mentioned during the course of your quit smoking phone session, there is no such term as smoking in moderation, like there is with drinking. Because 1 cigarette, even 1 puff, is considered excessive and can create cancerous cells which, when clumped together, form tumours. The gamble is just not worth the risk. Saboteur number 5. The test. This saboteur is when a person may tell themselves, I'm not sure if I've quit, let me test it. It's the idea that you prove to yourself you've quit by starting smoking again. Now this type of logic is rather warped. That a person might tell themselves, I can't believe it was this easy, I'm going to test it. The real test for being a non-smoker is just being a non-smoker. It's refusing cigarettes, and that's it. You don't prove to yourself you're a non-smoker by smoking a cigarette so you can quit all over again. That's like proving to yourself you can drive a car safely by crashing it into the wall every now and again just to know the difference. You don't do that. You drive safely because you know that when you hit that wall, you hit the wall. There's no undoing it. You're doing damage to yourself, the car, the environment, and to other people around you. It's just not worth it in the end. Okay, on to saboteur number 6. Not following these instructions. This saboteur is straightforward and very simple, but easily overlooked. Marco cannot emphasize how incredibly important this is. Simply put, you must follow all given instructions to increase the likelihood that you will remain smoke-free for the rest of your days. These include the recordings to reinforce the message, the conviction that change has been made, and further developing the attitude of a non-smoker, and the additional recording that rehearses your smoke-free days whilst regulating your appetite. As Marco pointed out, the quit smoking phone session you've just completed is part of the quit smoking program. This program ends in approximately 7 days, with you needing to listen to each recording daily for 7 days. So please follow the email instructions as carefully outlined and make use of the support provided. By doing this, you will succeed. Now, as Marco mentioned in your tele-session, a small percentage of people will go through a transitional period where a fleeting thought may come into their mind. But just because you have a thought that reminds you when you once smoked doesn't actually mean you want a cigarette to smoke. You're just reminded of it at times. Anything new will feel foreign at first. It's like driving a foreign car. Sometimes these cars have wipers and blinkers on opposite sides. You turn a corner and the wipers come on. When this happens, you don't panic. You simply realize what's happened, turn off the wipers, and use your blinker accordingly. And you're laying in bed that night, dreaming of where that brand new car will be taking you tomorrow. So, with a little patience and some persistence, you'll get through it and ease right into your new smoke-free life. Over time, you'll remember a life without cigarettes is much more natural, liberating, and far more comfortable. Of course, if it does happen where you pick up a cigarette, just isolate the incident rather than identifying with it. As Marco explained during your phone session time, a non-smoker can have a puff of a cigarette and still not be a smoker. They are just a non-smoker who had a puff of a cigarette. But of course, if it becomes anything more than that, then please let Marco know. So, just to recap again, please follow the instructions with the email and those recordings. And now, the 7th and final saboteur is something I've already alluded to, which is, when offered or if needed, please make use of the available support. As Marco has stated during your phone time with him, you can use him, just don't abuse him. All joking aside, Marco just wants to let you know your smoke-free journey has the extra guidance with his guaranteed support. This personalized guidance is always available to you during your program support period. Now, you may feel embarrassed or ashamed if, at some point in the future, you picked up another cigarette. And that's perfectly fine to feel that. However, it will be a greater shame if you were provided the opportunity to resolve the matter, but somehow you decided to not do anything about it. I sincerely hope this, along with everything else I've gone through in this guided video, makes complete sense to you. But just to recap everything, here are the 7 self-saboteurs again in a quick summary. Number 1 is dealing with other smokers. Number 2 is experiencing negative or chronic stress. Number 3 is curiosity, curious about new cigarettes, their smells or packaging. Number 4 is arrogance, the idea of starting smoking and stopping again. Number 5 is testing to see if the tele-session was successful by smoking a cigarette. Number 6 is not following post-session instructions. And finally, number 7 is not making use of Marco support that's been provided for you. Okay, so thank you for making it to the end of this guided presentation. That's about it from me. Now live your life knowing you've escaped the prison of smoking. My name is Alex, and as always, thank you for watching.